my sweat and my rust. I'm breathing in the chemicals. I'm breaking in, shaping up, then checking out on the prison bus. This is it, the apocalypse. Whoa.
And we are back with another edition of Disaster Survival Magazine's Weekly Radio. I am your host, Vincent Von Doom. Vincent Von Doom. This is Vince with Disaster Survival Magazine's weekly radio broadcast. We have a very special guest with us, Chris Blystone of Operation American Spring, Texas. Chris, are you there?
I'm here, Vince. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. Can you tell us about Operation American Spring for those who haven't heard about it, what exactly it is, when it is, what we're trying to achieve?
May 16th, we're trying to rally 10 million or more in D.C. to begin a tyranny of house cleaning kind of thing. The leadership of our government has proven themselves inadequate to the task, if not diversive. They are tearing us apart, quite literally, figuratively and literally. They're destroying our Constitution. They're ignoring our laws. They've become completely lawless, and it's time that we stand up and fight back against that. Our Constitution was designed to protect us, and it's time that we stand back and defect her.
Absolutely. I think they're like the schoolyard bully. They don't go away till you pop them in the nose. And I think we're under attack. I think we're under attack 24 hours a day from psychological operations. God knows what they're spraying in the air and putting in the water and what they're really up to. We have a complete breakaway republic, a breakaway civilization, their own little clique. I call it Dark Core, where it's a group of elite power brokers, and they are completely lawless, like you said, and something has to be done. They've, people can say that this Operation American Spring is a coup attempt, but they've already pulled the coup, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, they have. They have.
Wow. So now, Operation American Spring, it isn't like Occupy Wall Street, where it's kids living in their basement. This is ex-military, active military, militia. This is the real deal.
Yes,
right?
It is. We are doing this almost as a military operation now. I want to preface that this is a peaceful movement, but it is a peaceful movement being run by people with military experience.
Okay. Yeah, because when people hear Operation American Spring, they think of the Arab Spring, and images of violence are conjured up. But we're not like that. We're Americans. We're not barbarians. We're just trying to get our freedoms back and restore the future that's been hijacked from us.
Amen.
So what can people do if they want to support the operation, if they want to get more involved? Where can they go? There's a lot of websites out there, but some of them are filled with disinformation.
Yes, there's a ton of misinformation out there. Now, obviously, I think that the reasons behind that are because they fear what we're doing, and they know that if we can succeed at this, they have a reason to fear. So they're going to spread that misinformation all over the place. The main places to get the real information is OAS2014.com and OperationAmericanSpring.org. OperationAmericanSpring.org is our main forum for handling the logistics, the work that needs to be done, rallying people, building teams, working on the carpools and the porta potties and the communications and all of that kind of stuff. So that's where most of the real meat and potatoes is.
Yeah, I just signed up for the forum. That's how I got in touch with you. Now, is this being orchestrated at a local level as well? Are there local leaders in each state?
Yes, that's my position. I'm leading Texas for the time being until somebody better steps up. We as as I began to hear about this, I heard about it on December 31st. It was right at New Year's Eve. I heard about it, and I sat back and I watched for a good week or two, wondering, is this going to take any steam? Who's going to handle the logistics? How are we going to handle this? Who's going to lead it? And I sat back and I watched and I watched and I watched, and I was waiting for somebody else to step up and lead. And I really got convicted that, damn it, maybe I'm part of the problem. I'm just sitting back waiting for somebody else. I need to step up and lead myself. I don't have the qualifications for this. I'm a lowly E6. I'm a medic. You know, I don't have the skills required to lead that many people, but I can at least take care of myself. I'll be self-reliant, self-sufficient. So I started to build a team, a small local team. What I wanted to do was build 50 people. With that 50-man team, we could be self-reliant, self-sufficient. We'd have our own food, we'd have our own water, we'd have our own communications, we'd have our own shelter. We'd square it all away. And so I built my team. We had it all done in a week. Those 50 people, they're ready to go. We've got all our food, all our transportation. We can go up there and we can stay completely self-reliant and self-sufficient for 2 weeks pretty easily and pretty cheaply, by the way. It's not a whole bunch of expense to do this. The resources are there in our community if we just know how to go out and get them. Our people out there are pissed off, and they want to help. They want to get involved, and they are fired up. And it just takes the ability to go out there and articulate what we're doing, describe the measures that we want to take, and they jump on board. And so when I run into somebody as I'm out there recruiting, trying to build my team, as I run into somebody that says, I appreciate what you're doing, but I can't go. I can't get away from this, or I can't get away from that, or whatever their reasoning is. They can't go. All right, I understand that. Can you help me go? You've got tools that I need. Can I borrow your truck? Do you have a trailer I can use? Can you rent some porta potties for me? Hell, can you buy me some rice and beans? Whatever the case may be, those are valuable resources that are needed in Operation American Spring if we intend to stay.
Yeah,
you know, the argument,
this can't be a part-time job, in other words.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we really have to dedicate to this. Unlike so many other protests that have gone before where we go up there and we stomp our feet and we wave our flags for a day and then we go home. Well, they just ignore us and go back to whatever the hell they were doing. And that's where Operation American Spring intends to be different, because we want to stay in their face. We want to get there and really keep the pressure on to where they can't ignore us. That's the issue. And obviously that's a logistical nightmare.
It is. I'm worried that they're going to try to hijack this movement, whether it be agitators, or even I heard a report, a declassified report, that they actually had plans on the table to assassinate leaders of the Occupy movement. So it wouldn't
surprise me a bit. First off, these units that we're talking about building, these 50-man teams, they need to be autonomous. They need to be able to work and take care of themselves. We don't need this huge command structure in order to accomplish our goals in D.C. We don't need it. So if they take down our grid, if they take down our leaders, we're still going to have some functionality. We're still going to have some teeth. Second, when you talk about the agitators, people in the crowd that could stir up trouble, that say, for example, you got somebody out there with rocks and they start throwing it at the D.C. police and the D.C. police respond. If something like that happens, we need to be able to police ourselves. We need to be standing in that crowd, and if you see somebody doing something out of line, we have to control ourselves. We have to tackle that guy and bring him down and hand him over to D.C. police if necessary. We can't let those agitators win. At the same time, we have to be prepared. If D.C. police comes at us unjustly when they shouldn't, we need to be prepared to stand our ground. I don't want to get in a fight. I've been in war, and I don't want that war on my soil. This is not a military operation in the fact that we want to go up there and lay waste to D.C. We want this to be peaceful. That's my capital. I want it intact. I want it whole. So that's our argument against the attackers, against the people that would get into our crowds and try to subvert and infiltrate our movement. It's going to happen. It's just a question of...
Well, they never let a good crisis go to waste. They never
Absolutely.
let a good crisis go to waste. Order out of chaos is one of their slogans that they use, where I think that they're going to use this to their advantage, whether it be an attack on the grid or a cyber attack, so they can shut down all the networks and the internet traffic, so the rest of the world will not be able to see the true success of Operation American Spring. And then they're going to knock out two birds with one stone, and groups got together with Al-Qaeda or Iran. So this way they can attack Iran or North Korea and avoid being punished for their crimes.
Well, you know what? This battle, like you said, is a battle for the hearts and minds. And will they try something like that? I wouldn't put it past them at this point. I know that if they attempt to shut that down, if they're so scared of us that they have to close down the grid so that word doesn't get out, quite frankly, that means we got a pretty damn good chance of winning. If they're that afraid of us that they have to cripple themselves, then we win. That means that we have the teeth, that we can pull this off. I'm going to be encouraged, quite frankly, if they start trying to do things like that. I've heard that
we've also been getting... Go ahead.
No, it's all right.
We've been getting reports that the military and FEMA are training with knockout gas and nerve gas, which is banned by the United Nations, and we think that they might plan to use that on protesters, and that they have insurance policies. These people are not going to be removed from power without a fight, because there are lives at stake and huge consequences. A lot of people are going to be going to jail, tried in a public court, and possibly even executed. So I think they have insurance policies. I think they've developed bioweapons in which only they have the cure, and they're going to release them. These weapon programs are supposed to have been shut down during the Cold War. They were not. So they're using our taxpayer money to develop weapons to use against us. How vile and disgusting is that? And they have the cure, and then they're going to say it's some mutated bird flu or pig virus. It's not. It's built in underground labs.
Yep. So how do we fight against that? Patrick Henry, in his speech, the Liberty or Death speech, he came out and said, "You're begging for peace. We sit there and we've prostrated ourselves in front of the throne. At what point will we be stronger?" I hear the argument that how can we fight against such a mighty foe? How can we fight against that? When will we be stronger? Will it be next year when we're completely disarmed? Will it be after Connecticut has totally had all their guns confiscated? When will it be that we are stronger? Are we going to be stronger by sitting back in apathy and watching the world burn around us? When will we be stronger? I say the time is now. The time is as strong as we're going to be. We have to fight this at its core while we still can. If we sit back in fear, that fear is our chains. It's got us tied to the desk where we sit behind our computer and we gripe about all the evil monstrosities that are going on in our nation, yet we do nothing. We sit back in apathy and watch the world burn. It's time to stand up and fight back against it. Again, I mean peacefully, but fight with our fists in the air, our flags waving high, and our feet stomping on the ground. Let them hear us, that we will not be dismayed. We will not cower in fear. And those chains, they're coming off. I'm tired of sitting here in chains of fear that have me shackled.
Absolutely.
It's time to stand up and fight.
It definitely is time to fight, and I think the American public is ready. I think they've accepted the fact that